boy Frankie Nuñez. Welcome to the third episode of the official LOL podcast. Obviously, we're going to get straight into what is not just the top story in LOL, but the top story in the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and it is this sweeping pandemic that is affecting every player, every coach. It's affecting every person. Players affected by COVID right now in the league. We've got positive tests for Justin O'Shea, positive tests for Nick Muse, positive test for Nick Gerasi, although he is coming out of COVID protocols, and a positive test for Dan O'Shea. And at this moment, Dan O'Shea is in the hospital on a ventilator. Dan O'Shea needs everybody's help right now. So obviously, our best wishes out to Coach Dan. We've got Kevin McCarthy has tested negative after an exposure. Coach John Saddam tested negative after an exposure, and Frank Samisa, quarterback of the Smokes, negative after exposure. This thing is running through the league right now, and it's going to make life very difficult for a lot of people. It's going to make Sunday another low-number day, just as it did this past Sunday. People are affected, and if you are sick, you must stay home. The league and Commissioner Frank himself have put out a statement about new COVID guidelines in regards to league activity. For vaccinated players who have had an outdoor exposure, there is no need for a quarantine period or testing required to return to team activities. For unvaccinated players who have had an outdoor exposure, they must be tested 5 days after the exposure. That's for outdoor. Now we'll move on to indoor. Vaccinated players with an indoor exposure only need to be tested or quarantined if showing symptoms. But unvaccinated players who have an indoor exposure must be isolated for 5 days and have a test negative before returning to team. I'm talking to you, Coach Holmes. Now for positive tests. A positive test for a vaccinated player will result in at least an 8-day isolation period unless they can post back-to-back negative tests within 3 days. And a positive test for an unvaccinated player will result in a 14-day absence from league activity regardless of testing. So that, as far as I know, our vaccination rate in the league is above 80%, so it shouldn't affect many people, but the good old Coach Holmes, he's going to be in a world of hurt and will more than likely miss game day with a positive test. So that's it for segment one. We'll get back to it. We've got some big interviews coming up. I've got Nick Delmonte, quarterback for the Roadies, coming up. I've got Matt King, rookie receiver for the Mothmen, coming up. It's going to be a great show, and we'll be right back.
Getting lonely in the dark, so I'm shining like a star, on point like a dart. Crunch time, ticking lyrics like a work of art.
All right, we're here at the official LOL podcast. It's Frankie Nuñez. I'm here with star quarterback now, Nick Delmonte of the Neighborhood Roadies. Nick, are you happy to be here?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to get straight into it. Last year, you win a first-round double overtime matchup. You win a championship 5-0. You're handed the MVP trophy at the end of all this. Tell me about what that whole day as an experience was like when we're taking into account how emotional a day it was for you and everything that circulated that morning when you woke up.
Yeah, man, it was a blessing, you know. I really feel like my pops really helped me out on that one, you know.
Of course.
Gave me some athletic ability that I didn't have. Well, you know, I got it.
Did you think going into that game you guys were a lock to win no matter what with the talent on that roster, or were you a little nervous about the weather conditions, things like that?
I mean, going into it, I definitely thought it was a lock.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But, you know, as I was starting to play the game, it became clear that there was more talent on the other team than I thought. You know?
All right, so you've played for a few coaches now. Obviously, you started out playing for Dan O'Shea. You played for Team Johnny with the Smith Point Captains. You've played for Colin Tully. Now you're on the Roadies with Coach Shu. Tell me a little bit about these coaches and what they bring to the table and what's a little different maybe about Nick Muse this year.
Oh, man, every coach is totally different, you know. But I really don't have any recollection of throughout any of the other years because I never went to practice. But this year, this year playing for Shu, it's an honor, man. He's a good coach. It feels like a family, so I'm happy to be on the team I am.
Tell me a little bit about the alleged assault plans during the draft party.
Oh man, I had like 3 shivs lined up, all hidden in the room. I was just waiting for the perfect time.
Why was Frank the target of that assault?
Because how does the MVP fall to the second round and Frank gets picked first? It's mind-boggling.
All right, tell me a little bit about this beef with Ken Silver. Is this media made or is it real?
I mean, we all know he has an extra chromosome in there, so he sucks. He just sucks. That's it. But as a team person, I got to get over it. So I'm doing what's best for my team.
All right. You grow up in a family, speaking of Ken Silver, you grow up in a family with John Samisa, the Jammer, Frank Samisa, Ken Silver. You guys grew up competing against each other. Tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in that family and how you guys brought out the best in each other.
It was fun, man. We all had fun together. Ken always lost, but Frank and Jammer, it's been a pleasure. I love working with those guys.
Tell me about what role your fatherhood has played in your sudden increased dedication this season. You became a father, and all of a sudden you're at every practice. Is there a connection there, or am I drawing too many conclusions?
No, it's just me trying to be the best me I can be for everyone in my life. It makes 100%. You come to a realization when you get a kin.
Tell me a little bit about the decision that Coach Shu made to go with you at quarterback. Did that surprise you, and do you think it's something you're ready for?
I mean, after the first practice, I saw we were just all everywhere. It was horrible. we didn't even look like we knew how to play. So after that game, I was like, let me just take a shot at it. I think I'll be the best option, and week 2, it turned out it was.
I understand it's as simple as when you're quarterback, you're throwing the ball, and when you're receiver, you're catching the ball. But what are the differences in your responsibility in the huddle, from switching from wide receiver to quarterback?
It's definitely more of a leader position, but I try to get insight from all my players. So, when I'm in the huddle, I'm not always controlling what's going on. I'm asking for advice. I'm asking for input, seeing what they want to do, so I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody. And it definitely helps when I was a receiver and now I'm a quarterback. So I kind of know where to place the ball. So
are you going to miss playing receiver? Are you going to miss streaking down the field?
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. And I'm sure I'll still get my touches even this year.
Of course. So obviously, this is the second time you've gotten to play on the same team as Justin O'Shea. Is he living up to the hype? We all know he's regarded as one of the best ever. Is it great to work with him, or is that kind of does that kind of make it a little intimidating to be out there with him?
No, I mean he's got the title for a reason. He is one of the greatest. But like I told my team after week 2, no matter what, we got to work on our hands. So he is a legend, but there's still work to do.
Is there any truth to the rumors about you and Holmes having possible talks about a trade earlier this season, or is that hogwash?
No, that was total truth. I did not want to be on the team I was on.
Well, I'm sure now.
Ken just sucks, He ruined it.
I'm sure now you're happy that it fell through, but it is what it is.
I definitely am.
What I got 2 more before I let you go. What have you seen out of some of the other teams, whether it's Team Dan, the Smokes, or the Mothmen with Team Holmes? What have you seen out of those guys that maybe your team needs to get ready for, or you guys need to be well prepared to see?
Great plays, man. I've been seeing great fucking plays throughout throughout the 2 practices.
Yeah.
the receivers I'm even covering. Sometimes I'm looking back and getting burnt because the routes they're running are like I'm not expecting it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things I saw. But we just got to work on our defense in hands. That's the main thing this year.
Yeah. So the same question I ask everyone to end every interview. You're going on 6 years of the 10 years that LOL football's been around, which is crazy because I still think of you as a guy that's pretty young to the league, but 6 seasons is not young at all. So what has it meant to you, and have you enjoyed your time as a part of it?
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed it, man. It's an honor to play with you, with all the guys on the field. I'm still bewildered how you guys all come together and play every year.
It's crazy.
We're getting old out here, so I'm glad we're still playing.
All right, well, we really appreciate you being on, and we'll see you on Sunday.
It's a pleasure, man.
Peace, Nick.
Peace.
What's up, guys? It's Coach Holmes, and I'm here to give you a little advice on getting your dicks hard. Are you looking to impress your side bitch, or maybe give your girl that rock hard Peter Piper? Well, then you need Blue Chew. Blue Chew is made with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. It comes in the form of chewable tablets. It's shipped in discreet packaging, and the best part is, you don't even need to embarrass yourself at the doctor. Online consultations only take 5 minutes. You'll be slinging dick in no time. So, pop a couple Blue Chew. I do.
All right, we're here at the official LOL podcast. It's your boy, Frankie Nuñez, and I've got with me rookie wide receiver for the Mothmen, Matthew King, out of Southampton. Matt, you happy to be on the show?
Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
All right, we're going to get straight into it, Matt. Obviously, you knew this question was coming about being your first year in the league and all that stuff, but, I'm sure you heard a lot about it. What were your expectations? Have they been met? Have they been exceeded? Did it fall short? Tell me about what that's like for you.
Yeah, to be honest with you, there wasn't too much information. I saw one clip of the sporting event, the championship game with Coach Dan. It was a disappointment to his team that season. That's really the only thing I saw from the football league. So for me, expectations were far surpassed. Everything from the draft, seeing the amount of effort that goes into it, all the coaches, doing their due diligence on the players and all that. So it's been a lot of fun.
Tell me a little bit about your experience on draft night.
Me and my wife we were taking the elevator down. I guess we were about as confused as anybody would be coming into draft night. We had no idea what to expect. Walking in there, it was just impressive to see. You guys had the whole setup. The tables were set up nice, cute pictures of everybody. Dan O'Shea, the haircut. I was happy to see that. Food was fantastic. I've never eaten that kind of was Jamaican food before. That was delicious. And everybody coming together, being a family, drinking, extracurricular activities. There's some, a lot of fun in the hotel rooms later that night. So it was a good time.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Frank Samisa, Dan O'Shea, Ian Tully. I know you work closely with them in the football offseason. Tell me a little bit about those guys and maybe what role they played in you joining the league.
Well, between those three that you mentioned, between Frank, Ian, and Dan, there was enough shit talking during work. And, between who didn't eat and Frankie never eating and Ian always giving his food away, just with that small amount of banter, I figured if these three guys were involved, then, the other mid-islanders, up-islanders as I would call them, would be just as entertaining with the shit giving and all that. So, I had to come and find out.
So you're obviously you get drafted to the Mothmen. I'm sure that you thought you were going to be drafted to Team Dan, to the Smokes. I mean, you're close with Dan. What was that like, and did Dan make a mistake?
Well, Frank, I'll tell you, it's hard to say if he made a mistake or not. It is my rookie year, and I've yet to prove myself. There were some surprises on draft night, but as I was coming down in the elevator, I was with Renzo, who, as you know, is the current QB of the Mothmen.
Sure.
And I had seen him play a couple days before the draft, and I told him he was a round one guy. He wasn't really feeling that energy, but I told him he's a round one pick. And he ended up going in the first round. So I know from working with Dan and Frank that this plan was in motion since early July-ish.
Right.
That, Frank would go number one overall, and that Dan would be looking for me in the third round. That just didn't happen due to some things happening. Renzo going in the first left JJ open, and then what are you going to do? Gerasi is a great pick in the third round. So
were you surprised to go to the Mothman with Holmes, or did you?
Oh,
have...
not at all.
So
no,
you had
there
some contact with Holmes.
Oh, there is a deep love interest there with Holmes and I.
There's a rumor
right from the first moment I saw him.
There's a rumor when you first met him, his shirt was untucked. Is that true?
Oh, wildly untucked. Couldn't have been more untucked. And he actually, I work at a very exclusive private golf course. He actually showed up to the course with his own push cart, which didn't really meet club standards, but we let him push it away just because that's the kind of guy I am.
You brought up Renzo. Tell me a little bit about your first impressions of your quarterback.
Lovely guy. Love Renzo. He shows up for the team. He throws unbelievably. He knows the team well. He controls the huddle, when he's there. And that's probably what I like. But when we were drafted, we came together for our first scrimmage. We had a full team. And he really took control of the huddle and was play calling and really knew how to tweak a couple of things here and there. It kind of just gave everybody a good sense of what was going on the field, so we kind of can all rally around him.
Yeah, you can see why he was a former MVP. So Mastic is a pretty far hike from the Hamptons. Tell me a little bit about your impressions of the town of Mastic, Shirley, and what you think of these people that are from Mastic that you're getting to play football with every week.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Everybody, I don't know anybody my age in the Hamptons that owns a house. Everybody I meet out there in Mid-Island seems to own their own place. So I think I'm fucked up somewhere. Justin had me over. He's got a great spot. And what can I say about the boys? The boys are hilarious. The whole thing is really funny to me. I've never played in a league like this, so some of it's unexpected. But, knowing Frank and knowing the people he surrounds himself with, I had a pretty good idea it was going to be a good time.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the Mothmen, about your teammates, and maybe seeing as you've seen so much in scrimmages out of the Smokes and out of the Roadies, tell me a little bit about those rosters as well and what it's going to take for you guys to beat those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, like I said, having a full squad for us seems to really help. The past couple of weeks, we missing key players. We missed Maka 1 week, and we didn't really perform. Renzo the last couple of weeks, and again, we just struggle to find what's going on the field. Our play calling is a little off. We just need to come together, and when we're all there, I think we have a really good chance we're going to show out. We need Renzo in the huddle, and we need to put some of these plays together and keep working on stuff like that.
What about the Smokes and the Roadies? What have you seen out of those teams, and what would you like to try to attack when you talk about those rosters?
Well, for the Smokes, for one, I'd like to find some fucking way to shut Frank down a little bit. He makes his job easy. Everybody thinks he's a great quarterback, but that, his play calling leaves the guy wide open, seems every time, and he doesn't have to try very hard. So, things like that.
I agree.
And if we have somebody that comes in on Frank, he is known. He will get around somebody. Given his size, you wouldn't think he could move on a dime like that, but he'll get around players, and that worries me. So we need to make sure that we can cover that. And the other team, the Roadies, it remains to be seen with them. I still think they're trying to find their stride. Yeah. They did find something really good, I think, in Delmonte, right? Delmonte's throwing for them.
Yeah.
I think that's positive. I think, you got one of the best wide receivers in the league. As far as I know, Justin is there. So, nothing but good things coming out of that squad. We got to shut down. The Mothmen need to learn how to shut teams down from defense. That's what we need to improve on.
Totally agree. All right. So it seems as if, from the outside looking in, your wife is a pretty big Smokes fan. Is that causing any tension in the household, or is
next question?
Okay, do you have a message for the Noyak boys, for Jack, for Joe, for Alec?
Oh, what can I say to the Noyak boys? Stay alive, make it through. Only got a little while left. Uh, I hope I never see you at Noyak again. That's for sure. Maybe for a leisure round of golf. But you boys keep it real. You guys are hilarious.
All right, Matt, we're really happy you came on, and we hope to have you on again. Thank you for your time, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Go Mothman.
All right, peace, Matty. All right, that was Matt King, and we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
What? You motherfuckers are mad soft. Take my pants off. Challenge Mr. Married to a dance off.
Catch me outside, a Kennedy fries. Snatch your bike, sell it, 3-piece in the side.
All right, welcome back to the LOL Podcast. It's your boy Frankie Nuñez. It's our last segment of the show today. Again, before we get out of here, I want to thank our guests for coming on, Nick Delmonte and Matt King. We're going to move into what we saw on Sunday. Obviously, numbers were a little lower due to what's going on with COVID. With that being said, the only full side we saw was the Poospatuck Smokes. Team Dan had Dan O'Shea himself, Kevin McCarthy, Jesus, Frank Samisa, and JJ. And those guys were, when they got the opportunity to play together, because again, numbers were low, they were dominant on both sides of the ball. And we'll get into their offense, but defensively, we saw Dan, Frank, and Kevin implement a little zone ripple into what they do on defense. It was very, very effective. I'll be very interested to see if that's something they move along with. I don't know if they have to go to zone when they've got Nick Gerasi and JJ out on the perimeter, but it would be very interesting if they could switch into it on and off. What we saw on offense out of the Smokes was what we've seen for 3 weeks now. They cannot be stopped. They got into a couple of key third and longs and one fourth and long. On that fourth and long play, Frank Samisa was able to hit Kevin McCarthy on the right side on the curl route one-on-one against Justin O'Shea after a hard action fake. They are proving week in and week out. I know we've said it before. I sound like a broken record, but they're proving week in and week out they can get out of bad situations. I think the only negative is they continue to get into these bad situations. So if we can see them get into less third and longs or less fourth and shorts, I think that will go a long way for them. But they're getting out of them, so I can't really blame them. What we saw out of the Roadies was a question mark. Nick Delmonte obviously was the starting quarterback a week ago. He was a no-show this week. We were seeing a lot of Justin O'Shea at quarterback for them, and that can't happen moving forward. He was absolutely awful. What we saw out of the Mothmen is a lot of what we saw out of the Roadies. No Renzo. This hurts the team. With no Renzo, we saw Holmes take snaps at quarterback, and we even saw them sub in Justin O'Shea because he was so good for the Roadies. That did not work for them. They need Renzo just as badly as the Roadies are going to need Nick Delmonte. This quarterback play it has to be stable. You have to have stability at the position, and both teams haven't had it. That's why the Poospatuck Smokes have looked so good. Frank has been back there wheeling and dealing nonstop. I'm sure numbers will be affected this Sunday, but as of now, the league is planning on having Scrimmage Sunday this Sunday. Obviously, if you're sick, stay home, and most of the people that will be there will have a negative test on hand, so you can feel safe while you're there. It is an outdoor gathering. That's all the time we have on the show. I'd like to thank my producers, your boy Holmes and Kevin McCarthy, as always, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.